Release anything that isn't meant for you. All right, Leo, let's get into your reading. All right, the message that I have for you today is this, and it landed with serious authority. A voice of reason stepped into this person's world, and what they said cut straight through the noise. This was not a gentle suggestion. This was a direct confrontation delivered without any cushion at all. The wise figure in their life drew a hard line, and the words were unmistakable in clarity. Commit fully, or watch this slip away. That is the ultimatum placed at their feet without hesitation. This person absorbed it, and for the first time, the weight of potentially losing you became real. Before that conversation, they operated as if time was unlimited, as if you would always be waiting. That illusion shattered the moment the wise figure spoke, and everything shifted after that exchange. The comfortable fog they hid behind dissolved in an instant, leaving nothing but raw and undeniable truth. The cards validate every word of that message, and the opening card here is the King of Swords. King of Swords represents a sharp-minded individual, one who communicates with precision and zero sugarcoating. This card identifies the wise figure immediately, a person who sees through excuses without ever flinching. King of Swords says the conversation was blunt, measured, and delivered with a clarity that demanded attention. The wise figure did not raise their voice. The truth alone carried enough weight to fill the room. What was said struck a nerve, specifically because it reflected what this person already feared deep inside. King of Swords confirms the advice was logical, factual, and structured in a way impossible to argue against. This person sat with those words long after the conversation ended, and they found no valid rebuttal. The logic was airtight, the delivery was clean, and for the first time they had absolutely no counter. Next on the table is justice, reinforcing the core of the ultimatum with even greater force behind it. Justice says a balancing point arrived in this connection, where neutrality is no longer a viable position. The scales tipped, and this person cannot sit comfortably in the middle, pretending indecision causes no damage. Justice confirms that every day of hesitation now carries a cost, and that cost is visible to them. The wise figure showed them the math, that inaction is a choice, and it leads directly to loss. Justice presents outcomes based on behavior, and both paths were laid out in front of them without filter. One path leads toward full commitment, toward everything this bond could become if they step into it properly. The other leads to permanent absence, to watching you build a life without them and never recovering. Justice confirms this person understood those stakes fully, and the gravity of that realization has not left them. The pressure of those two options presses against their every thought, demanding a resolution they keep delaying. Neither option allows them to remain where they stood, and the discomfort of that is mounting steadily. Then the Six of Pentacles appeared, exposing the imbalance that the wise figure called out so directly. Six of Pentacles reveals this connection has been lopsided, with you giving far more than you received back. The wise figure named that imbalance for exactly what it is, unfair and completely unsustainable going forward. Six of Pentacles says this person was confronted with the reality that they took without ever matching it. They benefited from your loyalty, your patience, and your presence without ever returning that investment equally. The wise figure declared that you deserve reciprocity, and continuing without it disrespects everything you offered. Six of Pentacles confirms genuine shame surfaced when that imbalance was exposed, and it stung deeply. The final card is the Emperor, sealing the authority behind this entire message with undeniable structural weight. The Emperor confirms the wise figure spoke from earned respect, not from jealousy or petty interference at all. This advice came from protection, from genuine care, and from watching this person waste their time repeatedly. The Emperor says they were told to take ownership, grow up, and stop treating your heart carelessly. That directive landed hard, and the Emperor confirms it was received as the wake-up call intended. What was spoken cannot be unheard, and the pressure of that truth builds inside them with each day. Now, let us go deeper, because I need to sit with your energy and address where you are. You reached a place of emotional exhaustion, one that most people would not have survived this long. The patience you extended was not ordinary. It stretched far beyond what was fair or reasonable to expect. A quiet frustration has been simmering beneath your surface, and lately it has grown harder to contain. You gave without conditions for so long, you forgot what it felt like to receive anything back. That realization hit you recently, not as a sudden shock, but as a slow ache building over time. You looked around at the investment you poured in and finally asked if the return justified the cost. The answer stung, and the cards on this table are reflecting that sting with absolute precision today. You poured yourself into something without being replenished, and the emptiness that followed was not imagined. The first card on your side is the Three of Swords, validating the ache sitting inside you. Three of Swords confirms a wound that was never properly addressed, one that reopens every time you reflect. This card says the disappointment you carry is not imagined. It is earned, and it is completely legitimate. The disappointment did not arrive from nowhere. It was built slowly by receiving less than you deserved. Three of Swords reveals you grieved something that technically never ended, mourning what it should have been. You compared the reality of what you received to the vision of what you believed it could become. That gap between what you expected and what arrived created a sadness you swallowed quietly for too long. Three of Swords tells me you internalized blame that was never yours, taking responsibility for their distance. You convinced yourself that if you had been better, more patient, or more understanding, it would have worked. That lie exhausted you from the inside out, and the cards need you to release it without guilt. The next card on your side is the Four of Cups, capturing exactly where your emotional posture landed. Four of Cups shows a withdrawal, not from weakness, but from a place of complete emotional saturation inside. You pulled back because you had nothing left to give, and that retreat was quiet self-preservation. Four of Cups says you stopped expecting, stopped hoping, and started protecting what little remained of your peace. The numbness you feel lately is not apathy. It is your system shutting down to prevent further damage. Four of Cups reveals you turned down comfort from others because nobody truly understood what you carried. You went inward because the outside world had no language for the kind of ache inside your chest. Four of Cups confirms that retreat felt necessary, and the cards honor that choice without any judgment here. That choice to withdraw was survival, and the cards confirm there is zero shame in it. Then we have the High Priestess, and this card recognizes something powerful about your inner knowing today. The High Priestess confirms that beneath the exhaustion, your intuition never once went silent or stopped working. You sensed the shift before it happened, felt something moving beneath the surface, long before any proof arrived. The High Priestess says you know more than you allow yourself to trust, and that knowing scares you. Your gut has been whispering that things are about to change, and you keep dismissing it as wishful. The High Priestess says it is not wishful, it is accurate, and your body knew before your mind. The last card on your energy is Strength, confirming a resilience inside you that defies what you endured. Strength says you bent further than most ever would, and you still did not break under the weight. The quiet power inside you is extraordinary, and this card sees it even when you feel completely invisible. Strength confirms you are not fragile. You absorbed relentless pressure, and you remained standing through all of it. Your endurance is not weakness or something to overlook. It is the foundation of genuine power within you. The cards honor everything you walked through, and they need you to see your strength as they do. You carried more than your share, and the resilience it took to stay, the cards deeply recognize that. Rest in that for a moment, because your side of this reading holds more weight than you realized. So let us get into it, because I need to uncover what is happening inside this person. This person has been sitting in the aftermath of that conversation, and it cracked something open inside. The words from the wise figure did not bounce off. They sank deep and never stopped echoing. A reckoning is taking place inside them, a collision between pride and the genuine fear of losing everything. They recognize for the first time, but the comfortable distance they maintained was never actually comfortable at all. It was avoidance dressed as patience, and the wise figure tore that disguise apart in one conversation. This person grapples with a version of themselves they simply cannot ignore, no matter how hard they try. The first card on their side is the Five of Cups, revealing the grief sitting at their center. Five of Cups says this person mourns missed opportunities, staring at what they allowed to slip through. The regret is not shallow. It lives in a deep place they cannot distract themselves away from. Five of Cups confirms they replay moments where they should have acted, and the repetition tortures them. They see the cups that spilled, the chances they wasted, and the damage their indecision left behind. Five of Cups reveals a deep, private shame because they know the imbalance was entirely their own fault. Nobody forced them to withhold. Nobody made them retreat, and that ownership weighs heavier than anything. The shame is not performative. It is a quiet reckoning that follows them into every silent moment. Five of Cups tells me they grieve not just distance, but the version of themselves that caused it. They despise the cowardice that kept them frozen, and that self-directed frustration grows louder each day. The next card on their side is the Devil, exposing the pattern that kept them trapped entirely. The Devil confirms this person has been chained to self-sabotage, a cycle built by their own hands. Every single time commitment approached, something inside them flinched and manufactured a reason to pull back. The Devil says the chains binding them are internal, rooted in deep beliefs about unworthiness and failure. This person fears at their core that they cannot sustain the kind of bond they actually crave most. The devil reveals that fear operated quietly beneath every excuse, every delay, and every manufactured distance. They told themselves they needed more time, more certainty, more proof, when they actually needed courage. The devil confirms the wise figure identified this pattern, naming it directly without softening anything. Hearing their dysfunction reflected by a respected voice, the illusion they hid behind simply shattered. The devil says those chains are loosening now, because awareness is the first step toward dismantling them. Then we have the Page of Cups, uncovering an emotional vulnerability they desperately try to conceal from everyone. Page of Cups says, beneath the guarded exterior lives a tenderness this person considers their greatest weakness. They feel more deeply than they allow the world to witness, and that depth terrifies them into hiding. Page of Cups reveals a childlike longing for love they watched others receive, but never claimed themselves. They want to be chosen without performing worthiness, and that desire lives in their most protected place. Page of Cups tells me this person privately imagines, in vivid detail, what full surrender would feel like. They picture it in quiet moments, rehearse it inside their mind, and pull the walls up before dawn. They are not cold, they are terrified of being seen in the unguarded state that genuine love demands. The last card is the Queen of Pentacles, confirming what this person values most at their deepest core. Queen of Pentacles says they crave stability, permanence, and a bond that feels like unshakable ground beneath them. This person does not want temporary thrills. They want the kind of partnership that builds empires over time. The ultimatum did not create a new desire. It exposed one living silently inside them for months now. They want to commit. The cards confirm it without ambiguity, and the only obstacle remaining is their resistance. Their inner world is a battlefield, split between what they want and what they believe they deserve. Okay, let us dive into this because the action showing up in this spread is picking up rapidly. This person shifted from thinking into doing, and the transition happened with a sharpness nobody expected. The ultimatum activated a sequence of decisions inside them, and those decisions are now fully in motion. They started taking concrete steps, making moves that carry real weight and cannot easily be walked back. The energy around their actions is urgent, focused, and stripped of the hesitation that once defined them. Something clicked after the wise figure spoke, and that click translated directly into physical forward movement. They are no longer circling the situation from a safe distance. They stepped inside it with both feet. The transition from inaction to motion was instant, and the clarity behind it carries undeniable weight. The first card here is the Chariot, confirming a driven and deliberate push in one clear direction entirely. The Chariot says this person grabbed the reins and they are steering this situation with full control now. This card only lands when willpower takes over and action follows. It does not appear for passive energy. The Chariot confirms a decision was made and immediately executed without asking for any outside approval. They stopped consulting others, stopped weighing opinions, and moved forward based on what they already knew. The Chariot says the direction is locked, and the speed at which they are traveling accelerates steadily. This person restructured priorities, cleared distractions, and created a direct path toward where they intend to be. The Chariot tells me obstacles that previously blocked this step have been deliberately removed by them. Conversations were had, boundaries were drawn with others, and space was made for exactly what comes next. The Chariot carries disciplined momentum, and this person operates inside that discipline with full clarity now. Every step from this point is calculated, intentional, and aimed at one very specific outcome. They are not wandering toward this. They charge with the kind of intention that bends everything around. The next card landing is the Ace of Wands, bringing a burst of initiative that ignites every step. Ace of Wands confirms a spark was lit inside them, and it fuels their movement with raw energy. This card says they woke up to the urgency, and that awakening translated into immediate, tangible steps. Ace of Wands carries fresh start energy, and this person treats this moment as their new beginning. They initiated contact, broke silence, or set plans in motion that signal a departure from their old pattern. Ace of Wands says whatever they are doing carries finality, a decision that will not be reversed. The spark did not flicker or hesitate. It caught fire immediately and continues to gain strength daily. The hesitation evaporated, and in its place arrived a focused drive that has already produced visible results. Ace of Wands tells me a bold gesture is being planned, or has already been delivered without warning. This was not a timid reach out. This was a deliberate statement of intent backed by tangible action. The fire behind Ace of Wands does not fade quickly, and this person burns with it from inside. The last card is the Ten of Wands, confirming this person carries the full weight of their decision. Ten of Wands says they shoulder the burden of making this work, accepting that load without complaint. They know reconciliation demands effort, and for the first time, they are not running from it. Ten of Wands confirms they handle the heavy lifting, make the calls, and close the distance entirely themselves. Nobody asked them to carry this. They picked it up because the wise figure's words made inaction unbearable. Ten of Wands says the weight is significant, but their determination to follow through outweighs the strain completely. The load they carry is proof of their seriousness, and the cards recognize that commitment fully. They would rather collapse under the effort of trying than live with the regret of doing nothing. The action across this spread is undeniable, and every card confirms movement that is deliberate and already underway. This person is not approaching casually. They arrive with the full weight of an irreversible decision. Now come in close, because what this person conceals from the world needs to be heard today. Admissions are locked behind their ribs that have never reached the air, not once and not to anyone. They hold entire speeches composed in the dark, practiced until the words felt smooth, then buried again. The confessions sitting inside them are not mild preferences. They are declarations heavy enough to reshape everything entirely. This person aches to say what they truly mean, but the vulnerability required paralyzes them before they begin. They rehearsed surrender 1,000 times in their head and abandoned it 1,000 times before speaking. Everything unsaid has calcified into a second body, one they carry invisibly, and only they can feel. The first card for their confessions is the Two of Cups, stripping away every layer of pretense instantly. Two of Cups says this person privately acknowledges this bond as the most defining connection they have known. They refuse to say it aloud, but in the quiet of their mind, they already call this love. Two of Cups confirms they see lasting partnership when they picture this bond, not casual, but deeply permanent. The confession buried deepest is that they view themselves as half of something always meant to exist. They ache for mutuality, for the raw experience of giving and receiving in equal measure without walls. Two of Cups reveals they compare every interaction to this bond, and nothing registers at the same level. Other connections feel hollow to them, like echoes of something real found only in one specific direction. Two of Cups tells me they confess nightly, that they wasted irreplaceable time through cowardly hesitation. That admission torments them because they see the clock they ignored now ticking louder with each moment lost. The shame of wasted time sits alongside the longing, and together those two forces create an unbearable tension. That wasted time cannot be reclaimed, and the awareness of it gnaws at them every single night. The second card arriving is the Knight of Cups, uncovering the romantic confession they bury the furthest down. Knight of Cups says this person harbors a desire to arrive open, offering their heart without condition. They fantasize about the moment they drop every guard, look directly at this bond, and simply say everything. Knight of Cups reveals a tenderness they disguise as indifference, an emotional depth masked behind composed silence. This person wants to be the one who initiates vulnerability, who speaks first without any rehearsal at all. They imagine laying out every suppressed feeling on the table, raw and unpolished, and being accepted regardless. Knight of Cups confirms they secretly crave the emotional exposure they have avoided their entire life. The desire is not abstract, it is vivid and specific, revisited whenever solitude gives them any permission. They picture themselves finally unburdened, standing in the truth of what they feel, without any mask at all. Knight of Cups tells me they confess privately that no one stirred this devotion inside them before. The loyalty they carry for this bond is fierce, quiet, and completely unknown to the outside world entirely. Then we have the World, revealing the ultimate confession living at the core of this person. The World says this person privately believes that this connection represents their completion, their missing wholeness. They see this bond not as optional, but as the answer to a question carried for years. The World confirms they privately admit this is the exact partnership they measured every past relationship against. Every failed attempt to build with another only reinforced what they already knew. This was always the one. The World reveals a confession they guard fiercely, that they cannot picture fulfillment without this specific bond. Their definition of a complete life has this bond woven into every corner. Removing it leaves nothing whole. The World tells me they confess in private that the ultimatum only mirrored their own inner truth. They already knew commitment was the truly honest path. They just lacked the nerve to finally say it. Everything hidden inside this person points toward one undeniable conclusion, and the cards leave zero room for debate. This person is consumed by a love never confessed, and that silence is the loudest thing here. So let us see what is ahead, because the near future of this bond demands your full attention. The first card for what is approaching is Temperance, and it signals a powerful period of rebalancing ahead. Temperance says the extremes that defined this connection are settling, and a middle ground is finally forming. The imbalance that was called out is being corrected, and both sides are adjusting toward equilibrium naturally. Temperance confirms patience will be rewarded, and the healing taking shape between these two energies is genuine. The second card for the near future is the Sun, carrying the most optimistic energy in the deck. The Sun says clarity replaces confusion, warmth replaces distance, and truth replaces every lie that held things apart. This is not a fragile reconciliation, the Sun confirms, reunion built on honesty and mutual recognition of worth. What approaches is joyful, grounded, and illuminated by truth that only a crisis can force into the open. The near future holds a turning point where both of you finally stand in the same light together. The Sun confirms this is not the ending. It is the beginning of the chapter that truly matters. Let me offer guidance, because how you carry yourself through this next phase will shape everything that follows. Do not rush to meet them halfway before they demonstrate they earned the right to stand beside you. Your value was confirmed by this reading, and you do not need to prove it twice to anyone. Receive their effort with an open heart, but keep your standards visible so they understand what respect requires. Let temperance guide the pace. Move with grace over urgency, and allow balance to settle naturally. The wise figure delivered the truth. Your role now is to stand firm and let results arrive. Trust that what was spoken cannot be unspoken, and its impact continues to press against this person daily. Let me circle back to the message that started this reading, because it anchors everything confirmed today. The message was this: a wise figure told this person to commit fully or accept losing you permanently. The cards validated that message, confirmed it was heard, and showed its impact unfolding across every single part. The ultimatum was delivered, the truth was absorbed, and the response to it is already taking visible shape. The trajectory of this reading built steadily from start to finish, and it deserves a thorough recap. Let me walk through all 20 cards across every part for your complete recap of this entire reading. King of Swords identified the wise figure, and Justice confirmed the ultimatum carried undeniable structural weight. Six of Pentacles exposed the imbalance, and the Emperor sealed the authority behind every word that was spoken. Three of Swords validated your pain. Four of Cups honored your withdrawal, and High Priestess confirmed your knowing. Strength recognized your resilience. Five of Cups revealed their grief, and the Devil exposed their self-sabotage. Page of Cups uncovered their vulnerability, and Queen of Pentacles confirmed their craving for permanent stability. The Chariot confirmed driven action. Ace of Wands ignited their initiative, and Ten of Wands carried the weight. Two of Cups revealed their private confession of love, and Knight of Cups uncovered their romantic vulnerability. The World confirmed they see this bond as completion. Temperance confirmed rebalancing, and the Sun confirmed reunion. That is 20 cards across 6 parts, and not one contradicted the message or pointed away from you. The alignment across this reading is extraordinary, and the certainty behind it leaves absolutely no room for doubt. Each layer built on the one before it, and together they paint a picture impossible to misread. This reading confirmed the wise figure's words landed where they needed to, and the shift is real. What belongs to you has been shaken awake, moving toward you with clarity that will not fade. You are valued, you are chosen, and the bond your heart recognizes is being fought for right now. Carry that truth with you, and trust that what was revealed today is not a possibility, but certainty. Thank you for being here, for trusting me with your energy, and for walking through this with me. I send you warmth, I send you peace, and all the blessings this reading holds for your life. The first card for what is approaching is Temperance, and it signals a powerful period of rebalancing ahead. Temperance says the extremes that defined this connection are settling, and a middle ground is finally forming. The imbalance that was called out is being corrected, and both sides are adjusting toward equilibrium naturally. Temperance confirms patience will be rewarded, and the healing taking shape between these two energies is genuine. The second card for the near future is the Sun, carrying the most optimistic energy in the deck. The Sun says clarity replaces confusion, warmth replaces distance, and truth replaces every lie that held things apart. This is not a fragile reconciliation, the Sun confirms. Reunion built on honesty and mutual recognition of worth. What approaches is joyful, grounded, and illuminated by truth that only a crisis can force into the open. The near future holds a turning point where both of you finally stand in the same light together. The Sun confirms this is not the ending. It is the beginning of the chapter that truly matters. Let me offer guidance, because how you carry yourself through this next phase will shape everything that follows. Do not rush to meet them halfway before they demonstrate they earned the right to stand beside you. Your value was confirmed by this reading, and you do not need to prove it twice to anyone. Receive their effort with an open heart, but keep your standards visible so they understand what respect requires. Let temperance guide the pace. Move with grace over urgency, and allow balance to settle naturally. The wise figure delivered the truth. Your role now